So you watched my other video about Visual Studio Code? Oh, you haven't? Go and watch it then and then come back. I'll put the link up in the cards and also in the description box down below. So now you watched it and you're wondering, how can I make my own snippets? That's what I'm gonna explain to you in today's video. If this is the first time on this channel, my name is Fabio and here I talk about web development and programming. If that is something you're interested in, definitely subscribe to the channel and click the bell icon down below so you get notified every time I put out new videos. Okay, let's go. So first of all, I'm gonna start the video by having a look at the built-in snippets so you can see them in action and understand how they work. To do so, I'm gonna create a new file, a new JavaScript file, and I'm gonna call it snippets example.js. By the way, snippets work with all the languages, so don't worry, I'm just using JavaScript, but you can use whatever you want, okay? So let's say you want to add a for loop and you don't remember the precise syntax, especially in the beginning. It's really difficult to remember all the syntax. So what would you do? You go look it up somewhere, waste a lot of time, right? In this case, with snippets, you would just start typing, like, for example, for, as you can see here, okay? And then you would have all these options available. As you can see, there's this little square next to the name of the option. This means that this is a snippet, this is a snippet, this is a snippet, and so on and so forth, okay? You can just highlight it with the arrows in your keyboard. As you can see, it's going up and down, and then hit tab, or you can simply click on it. And there we go. You've got everything in place. The for loop is already there. The structure is there. A lot of time saved, and you know, you don't need to remember this syntax. You just need to remember, like, yeah, there's a for loop, I need to use that. But then at the same time, you can just use the snippet to, you know, to actually make the structure and then use it, especially if you work with different languages with different structures. Okay, so here you can even start typing the name of the variable and it would add the name in all the different areas where you need that name. So for example, let's say I'm gonna call it like my var. As you can see, he's changed it here, here, and so on. So this is a built-in snippet. There are others, like for example, if-else block, like that. There's a while loop, like that. There are loads of other snippets available to you. So what about if you want to make your own snippets? Because yeah, I hear you saying like, yeah, but what about if I have a piece of code that I want to repeat over and over? I don't want to remember all the time, or I don't want to write it down somewhere and then have to go copy, then paste it and stuff like that. I just want to start typing something, right? And then hit tab and then have my code there. There's a way you can do that, and is what I'm going to show you right now. So one thing that I want to point out before we start creating our own snippets is that there are vscode extensions that you can install that add snippets for a specific language. So for example, there are for Python, there are for JavaScript, but today what I want to show you is how to create your own snippets, okay? So first of all, you need to understand that snippets can be scoped to either one, multiple, or even all of the languages, okay? If you want to create new snippets for a specific language, you need to add them in the JSON file whose name is the name of the language, okay? So for example, let's say I want to add a snippet for JavaScript. To do that, I just have to go down here, user snippets, and then as you can see here, you've got a list of all the languages. So I just have to go down, scroll down, go to JavaScript, click on it, and then here you've got the JavaScript JSON file, and here you've got the description on how to do things, okay? So for example, it says that you need to have a prefix, body, description, etc, etc, etc. Okay, so I'm just going to leave the comment there and just start copying this. So let's say we want to create a snippet to actually print something like a message, our own message. Okay, so we could start adding like print, let's say error message. Okay, and then okay, so here you've got the prefix, and I'm gonna use like CLGER. Okay, perfect. Then the body is gonna be console.log, and then my message like this is my error message. Okay, perfect. Close this. Okay, and this. Okay, then I'm gonna go down, add a description, and I'm gonna say like log my error message. Okay, here I need to add a comma that I forgot. Okay, so this is basically our snippet. I'm gonna save it, Control S. So now I can use CLGER to write this on my text editor. So for example, I'm gonna go to my JavaScript file and then start typing CLG, and there we go. So here you've got your personal message, okay, your custom message, and you can do whatever you want. So for example, let's go back to the snippets. Let's copy this and paste it down below. Okay, I'm gonna say, here you go, another comma. I'm gonna say like print something. I'm just using the console.log example, but it could be whatever. So for example, here you've got CLG and then console.log, and then here you place $1. Okay, this means that the cursor is going to be here ready for you to actually type something. Okay, so I'm gonna console log something. Okay, I'm gonna save the file, go back, okay. As you can see, the cursor is in the middle, so you can start typing something. This is my message. Okay, really easy. Then hit tab again, and that's it. Another thing that could be useful is how to make multi-line snippets. So comment that in something multi-line, okay, GML, just making things up at the moment. So here you've got this, and then you just need to comment that, and here write something else. Could be also blank. Okay, so it's like an empty string would be like a space. Okay, then again like another console.log, and then $2. Okay, so after the tab, the cursor is gonna go down to the second. Okay, and then also I can add another one here, for example like 3. So then when I hit tab, the cursor is gonna go down to a new line. Okay, perfect. Console log something, that's fine. Okay, so I'm gonna start typing this, and as you can see the new snippet here. Okay, so I'm gonna write the first message. This is my first message. Hit tab, and then this is my second message. Okay, hit tab again. As you can see, now the cursor is in the second line where the third $sign with a 3, okay, was. One thing that I forgot to mention is that you can actually have labels instead of the $sign and the 3, which means that when you actually use a snippet, then the cursor will be ready to overwrite the label. So let's say that we have another snippet, something new. Okay, add a comma in here, really like new. Okay, so instead of having this, you're gonna have $sign, curly brace 1, and the label, and that's it. Label could be index, label could be message, here the same. So basically, when you use a snippet, you are gonna see like console.log, and then in here message that you could actually overwrite, okay, and then here message 2 inside the console.log, okay, and then you're gonna overwrite it with the message you actually want to write inside. So it's a sort of hint. So I just wanted to mention it because I think that sometimes, especially if you do something that other people are going to use, it's always useful to leave like a message or something about what you have to actually write. Okay, so this is another little feature. So now let's talk about multi-language and global snippets. So when you're creating a snippet, you could add a property called scope, and that property actually takes one or more languages identifiers and makes the snippet only available for those languages. Okay, so for example, if you want to add a snippet for JavaScript, TypeScript and stuff like that, you could do that. Or if you wanted to add a snippet for Python, PHP, I don't know, just making things up, but you can do that easily. If the scope property is not given, okay, or is empty, the snippet is available for all the languages. Okay, so now we're gonna have a look at how to make multi-language snippets and snippets available for all languages. Let's start from the multi-language. Okay, so I'm gonna close the javascript.json file, we don't need it. I'm gonna go down here, use snippets, and then instead of clicking on the name of the language I want to add, I can just click on new global snippets file. Okay, and here I can add the name for my file. Let's call it my snippet. That's it. Hit enter, and there you go. You've got the new file. Okay, as you can see in this file, the example is a little bit different. There's the scope property. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is like copy this one and see if I can uncomment it, and that's it. Okay, so print to the console. JavaScript, TypeScript, could be also Python. It doesn't make sense because Python doesn't have the same commands as JavaScript or TypeScript, but just to show to you that you could add also PHP and stuff like that. Okay, so here let's change this to log my, just to recognize it. I'm gonna save the file, go here, log my, okay, it would work also in TypeScript files. And if you remove this, okay, this line of code, this snippet would be available for all the languages like PHP, Python, whatever. Okay, so this is really useful if you have something that you use in multiple languages. It's really easy to create snippets just for that. Okay, so these are called global snippets. Okay, so I'm going to close this file. So to wrap it up, basically snippets are blocks of code that you can reuse. So you can just type the prefix, hit tab, or maybe click on it, and then you'll get the body of the snippet in your code. Okay, so you don't have to remember everything, or maybe you don't want to type over and over things, so you just make a snippet, and that is going to save you a lot of time, especially if you have to write the same thing over and over. Okay, and also it's going to make you less prone to mistakes, because you just need to check that snippet once and that's it. Okay, instead of having to type it multiple times, because the more times you type something, the more likely it is to make mistakes. Okay, so snippets are also great for that reason. So that's it, guys. I think I've covered everything you actually need to know to get started with snippets. Of course, there are a lot more to it, but you know, by knowing the things that I've explained, you can actually do a lot of things with snippets. You can build your own ones, your global ones, snippets that are available on just one language, multiple languages, and also globally, like for all the languages. So now I'm gonna close the file. I'm gonna close this, and that's it. I hope this video helped you get your head around snippets, and now you can go and create your own ones and be more productive. If you enjoyed the video, please like it, share it with your friends. Also, don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell icon down below so you get notified when I put out new content like this. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!